Hello there. I am eating Lucky Charms. Yay! I'm eating Lucky Charms because I feel like eating a snack. That's cool. Mm. I like Lucky Charms. I actually have another box here that's pretty much empty. It's 2 boxes of Lucky Charms within the span of 1 week. Probably not good for me, but who cares? I could be doing a lot worse stuff. I don't know. It's funny. Like, someone criticized how much junk food I've been eating lately, and she smokes. So it's like, isn't that bad for you? And I don't criticize people who smoke because it's their decision. You're gonna criticize me for eating junk food? I think it's a social thing, though. Like, it's a social thing because if you eat a lot, that's very obvious. Like, obviously, being addicted to cigarettes is a lot worse than being addicted to food. But if you're addicted to cigarettes, the symptoms don't come until like you're 50 or 60. Like you start getting really wrinkly, and your face is so your voice is so raspy. Hey, how you doing, honey? And then that's you. And you got the oxygen tank, and that's not nice. But that's forever away. We're young. We're college students. We don't have to worry about that. Meanwhile, if you eat a lot of food now, the effects come now. More effects come later, like you get diabetes and stuff like that. But you also get fat, and fat isn't cool. I'm already socially isolated enough. I don't need something helping that. I don't need to get fat and become even more isolated from people. The way my mind works, I can hardly ever initiate something with anyone. The only time I ever talk to someone is if they initiate something with me. So from that perspective, I gotta be as physically appealing as possible, because that's the way society works. It's called like the angel syndrome or the angel symptom or something like that, where we assume that people are better or cooler or more interesting if they look nice. And if they look kind of weird, then you don't. Hmm. 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 I don't know what that was, but yeah, I'm eating stuff. I normally eat a shit ton of food whenever I'm anxious. And I don't know what I'm anxious about. I really don't. I just sort of get in these emotional settings where there's times where I'm high, like I'm really happy, and then I get low, and I'm sad and depressed, and then I'm high, then I'm low. Actually, when I'm down, it can be one of two things. I was going to say it's not really depression, but it can be one of two things. One, it's depression. Like, I just feel shit. I feel apathetic, and I don't want to do anything or talk about anything, and I just isolate myself. And the second one, I also do that. I also isolate myself, but it's because I have a lot of anxiety, I feel like. Like, I just feel panicked about everything, and I get to a point where, like, how can I do this? And I just sort of give up hope of accomplishing anything. And, yeah, because it's so easy to feel overwhelmed by life because you're in a situation where you believe that people are better off than you. And I do believe that people are better off than me because people at least understand how to get into social circumstances and have a good time in life and stuff, which I don't really understand for the most part. But in reality, I don't feel like most people who have a happier life than me have much more than me. They just know how to use what they have better and more efficiently than me. So it puts me in a very odd situation. I don't know. Because I don't know how to use what I have in my life at all. Like, I don't know, it's crazy. And I just feel like everybody's so much better than me, and why bother? So I become crazy, I panic, and I just hide. And yeah, and that's how I don't have a social life, really. I do somewhat, but not as active as a college person should. So that sucks, and it leads me to become depressed, and depression leads to anxiety, and the anxiety leads to depression, and it's not cool. I don't know. It's not cool, and it's not fun. And for some reason, when I get like that, I feel the need to eat. When I used to feel the need to like exercise, like I would go run or I would do push-ups or something, but I'm not in nearly as good shape now. I sort of gave up on being healthy, so I started eating instead, which is not cool. I was gonna say, well, that's cool, but it's really not. It really kind of sucks. So, yeah, I guess that's what happens when you don't focus on being constructive in your life. you have this nervous energy, and you can either use it for good or bad. You gotta feel like you're doing something, but it's hard to measure what's good or bad sometimes. It's hard to tell what's good or bad in life. Like today, I went to this, I don't know what you would call it. It was like a session thing, I guess. It was in this big lecture hall building, and this one guy came and he talked about the various ballot proposals for the 2012 elections. Obviously, there's the presidential running. You can vote for Obama or Romney or any third-party candidate, but there's also various things that you vote on. There's 6 things in Michigan, and 5 of them are constitutional amendments. And they seem really obvious, but the more you look into them, the more complication there is. Like, there's one about old people and making sure they get the right benefits. I think it's like 4 or something, Proposal 4 in Michigan, something like that. And it seems obvious, but when you look into it more, it also seems like it's something that would allow people to take advantage of the old people. And apparently, the things that are being proposed by this legislation, or the things that are being told to the public, already exist. It's just a way for them to be further taken advantage of. The guy who was leading it was obviously right-wing. I could tell that. I could tell his bias. But, you know, that's fine, because I can generally see through the bias and come to my own conclusions. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about things. It's hard. It's like I want to make my vote count. I don't really like talking about politics with people, because I tend to find that people who talk about politics come across as generally unintelligent. And I'm not saying because they disagree with me and I'm the intelligent one, they're stupid. I'm just saying people don't sound very intelligent to me. They don't sound like they know what they're talking about or what they're doing. And it's kind of odd because you would expect that if someone's flaunting their knowledge, actually no, if someone's flaunting their knowledge, that's exactly it. They expect you to think that they're knowledgeable. They expect you to think more of them. So you focus on that, and you give them credit for being smart, and you just sort of take it at their face value, and that's it. But you don't really look into it more. Like, I find it hard to talk about politics with people because when you talk with politics with people, it's almost impossible to get them to change their mind. And that's with me, too. If you just sit down and talk with me, I will rarely change my mind. At least there. I might think about it later, read more into it, think about it, and then change my mind. But just sitting down and talking with someone, I'm not going to just change my mind off the fly. And if you're the other person, or if it's me debating them, I don't know if they're really getting anything out of it or not. So I don't know if my efforts are worth it or not. So that's a very complicated situation. Because I know ideally, in terms of politics, what I feel like I believe in many aspects. But for those of you who aren't from America and don't know how it works in the American legal system, oftentimes people will have a law that looks nice, it has good stuff, but you'll slip in little provisions into it that also further your cause. And they're not good. Like, it can be, I don't know how to describe it, but like, for example, it can be something that protects the politicians or gives them money advantages or something of that nature, or protects the corporations. It gives them a bigger tax break. And you can say, no, that's not cool, I don't want that. But if you oppose it, then you look like you're opposing the whole thing, or the idea behind that thing. Like, oh, well, you're opposed to the existence of unions or minimum wage laws. Like, no, I'm not, but I don't know, it's so complicated. Like, legal systems in America are so complicated. They're probably worse in other countries, but I don't know. I feel like I'm one of the most intelligent people in that regard, though, because I can see that I don't know what's going on. People are like, oh yeah, I know what's going on, even though I only look at it. I've only looked at politics like a collective 20 minutes in my life. I still know everything, and I just get it, and I know what I know, and it's all right. Those people, I feel like, aren't educated enough. And, you know, that comes from people of all walks of life, of all positions, but that's just what I see. So it's complicated, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if what I do is for the good or the bad, and I panic. And then I eat more Lucky Charms. Yay. And my arms are really scrawny lately. They used to be stronger, like 3 years ago or so, but I just stopped working out. They were never really bulky, but I just gave up. I used to be able to do like 50 push-ups. Now I can do like 30 or so. I don't know. Almost at the 10-minute mark that the webcam upload gives you, so I guess I'll say goodbye. Goodbye. I should do these more often. I used to upload every day here, but I don't anymore. Maybe I'll do that. Who knows? Have a nice night.